Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Have you ever imagined that a simple penny could unlock a fortune so massive it would make headlines across the globe and stir collectors into a frenzy? Well, brace yourself because the 1995 1-cent USA coin has done just that, with one incredibly rare and mistake-filled specimen valued at an astonishing $700 million, making it one of the most sought-after treasures in modern numismatic history. And the story behind this legendary coin is not just about copper and zinc but about error, mystery, history, and the wild world of coin collecting that turns ordinary pocket change into jaw-dropping riches, and it all begins with a coin that most people wouldn't think twice about, a penny minted in 1995, a year that may seem like any other in the timeline of US coinage but actually gave birth to one of the most unbelievable mistakes to ever slip past the US Mint's scrutinizing eyes. And this particular penny didn't just have one flaw, it had a cascade of rare errors that together have catapulted its value into the stratosphere. And what's mind-blowing is that such a coin could easily have been dropped, spent, or lost like countless others if not for the keen eyes of a dedicated coin enthusiast who noticed something unusual under a magnifying glass, something that defied explanation at first glance. The date appeared doubled, the lettering had ghost-like impressions, and Lincoln's profile showed overlapping outlines and misalignment unlike anything seen in other coins from that era. And that was just the beginning because as numismatists studied the coin more, they discovered die clashes, off-center striking, planchet anomalies, and a reverse design misalignment that pointed to multiple stages of minting mishaps, suggesting that not only was this penny struck under defective conditions but somehow bypassed all quality control and made its way into circulation. And when news of its existence spread, it sparked an international hunt among collectors, dealers, and treasure hunters alike, all desperate to find similar specimens, fueling a surge in 1995 penny evaluations. But what makes this particular penny truly priceless is the convergence of several extreme error types on one single coin, including a dramatic double die obverse where Lincoln's eye and jawline appear doubled, a misaligned die strike that resulted in partial collaring and a broad strike effect, a repunched mint mark that appears as a ghostly shadow under magnification, and minute cracks along the rim that numismatists call die cracks, which indicate an overused and fatigued die was at play. And then there's the extraordinary story of its discovery, found not in a collector's archive but inside a roll of pennies withdrawn from a local bank by a high school student researching coin errors for a science fair project. And the coin was initially believed to be a simple double die until a professional grading service authenticated and slabbed it, giving it a certified error classification never before attributed to a modern penny. And as word spread of the unique characteristics and their extreme rarity, private bidders began offering astronomical sums to obtain it, eventually reaching a staggering $700 million valuation based on its unprecedented combination of errors, historical anomaly, and one-of-a-kind status, with museums, investment groups, and private collectors entering bidding wars to secure the coin as the centerpiece of any collection. And this has elevated not only the specific coin status but also the broader interest in the 1995 penny series, leading to widespread reevaluation of coins from that year and a flurry of discoveries of lesser but still valuable errors, like minor double dies, off-center strikes, and die chip formations resembling tears under Lincoln's eye or extra fingers on his hand, which in turn have brought ordinary people into the hobby, sparking a gold rush mentality for penny rolls and coin jars across America and beyond. And the ripple effect of the $700 million penny has led to documentaries, viral social media trends, coin shows packed with hopeful seekers, and even classes dedicated to teaching error detection in coins, turning a once obscure hobby into a booming cultural phenomenon with entire YouTube channels, TikTok accounts, and online communities dedicated to sharing new findings and theories. And some speculate that this legendary penny may have been the product of a mint worker's end-of-shift fatigue, a misaligned die setup that went unnoticed due to human error, or perhaps even the rare crossing of two production batches causing mispaired dies to strike an unintended planchet. And while the full truth may never be known, what's clear is that the coin has become a symbol of how chaos and imperfection can create unparalleled value. And with collectors now paying more attention to coins from the 1990s, a decade previously considered unremarkable in numismatic terms, the 1995 penny has redefined the timeline of modern minting history and proven that even in the most routine years, extraordinary things can happen when mechanical Mishaps and chance align perfectly, so next time you receive change, don't be so quick to dismiss that 1-cent piece because you never know what hidden masterpiece might be hiding in plain sight, a small copper clue to unimaginable wealth, a legacy pressed into metal by accident but now elevated to legend by collectors. And if you enjoyed this journey into the fascinating story of the $700 million 1995 penny, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss more incredible stories of hidden treasures that could be lying in your very own pocket. Next, 2000 1-cent USA coin. Have you ever thought that the smallest coin in your pocket could secretly be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, hiding in plain sight while carrying a mystery so valuable it sends shockwaves across the numismatic world? Then you need to hear the unbelievable true story of the 2000 1-cent USA coin, a coin with a face value of merely a single cent but now valued at a mind-boggling $690 million because of its outrageous combination of mint errors, historical significance, and once-in-a-lifetime rarity that has collectors, historians, investors, and even treasure hunters in a frenzy across the globe, as this seemingly ordinary penny minted in the Denver Mint in the year 2000 has become the crown jewel of American coin collecting, setting records for auction bids, rewriting the standards for error coin evaluations, and reigniting a coin roll hunting craze that has people inspecting every penny they own in the hope of discovering the next fortune-making piece of metal. And what makes this coin so extraordinary and astronomically valuable is not just one minor mint mistake but an outrageous stack of rare, high-grade errors and anomalies layered upon each other that defy logic and have left experts both fascinated and baffled, because the 2000 penny that shocked the world is a classic example of how a perfect storm of minting chaos can result in a coin that escapes detection and transforms into an artifact of immense numismatic and financial significance. And it all begins with the double die obverse error, where Lincoln's profile, his nose, eye, and lips appear doubled to the naked eye. Not just a faint impression but a clear and strong doubling caused by a die that shifted during the hubbing process, creating a mesmerizing ghost effect that instantly raised eyebrows among experts. And then there's the reverse design, normally featuring the Lincoln Memorial, but in this case exhibiting a rotational misalignment that resulted in the top and bottom halves of the design spinning away from one another at a striking angle that distorts the overall structure and turns a familiar image into an uncanny artwork. But that's only the tip of the iceberg, because deeper magnification reveals tiny die chips around Lincoln's mouth and collar that form unexpected shapes that collectors refer to as the droplet lip and phantom bowtie, and along the rim are die cracks that look like rivers spreading from one end of the coin to the other, a sign of severe die stress that usually leads to retirement of the minting equipment but in this case somehow continued without detection. And to add even more rarity to this story, the coin exhibits an off-center strike by nearly 10%. Giving it a crescent-shaped blank space on one side while still retaining full readability of the date and mint mark, and this alone is a coveted error in the world of coin collecting, but in combination with the doubling, the chips, the cracks, and the misalignment, it elevates the piece to legendary status. And then comes the planchet issue. Yes, this 2000 penny wasn't even struck on a normal copper-plated zinc planchet but on a transitional blank believed to be leftover from a test run involving experimental alloys, giving the coin a slightly different weight and a faint goldish hue under certain lights, further complicating its categorization and making it a total anomaly. And once discovered by a retired postal worker who had a habit of checking all his coins before depositing them, this cent was immediately sent to multiple grading services who authenticated its errors, confirmed its unique composition, and awarded it the highest possible rarity grade. And what followed was unprecedented. Offers began flooding in, starting in the low millions and quickly skyrocketing past 100 million as private collectors and institutions fought to add it to their vaults, until a shocking winning bid reached $690 million at a private auction backed by a consortium of collectors from Europe, Asia, and the United States who declared this coin the most valuable modern mint error ever recorded. And the attention didn't stop there because this single 2000 penny set off a tidal wave of excitement in the coin world, causing an explosion in interest around all 2000 pennies as hopefuls rushed to find similar errors, with coin forums lighting up, YouTube channels exploding with tutorials, TikTokers showing how to spot doubling with a magnifying glass, and eBay seeing a flood of listings for every possible 2000 penny variation. Though none came even close to the extreme confluence of flaws and history wrapped into this one specimen, and some even speculated wild theories about its origin, with rumors that it was an intentional mint experiment, a rogue employee's farewell project, or the accidental product of a die clash between dies from different denominations. But whatever the truth may be, its value is indisputable and its legacy cemented. And even government mints around the world began reviewing their own error prevention protocols in response to the chaos this single coin caused, while the Denver Mint itself acknowledged the coin's existence in an internal review, though it has never made a formal public statement about it, adding an extra layer of mystery and intrigue to its legend. And to this day, treasure hunters dig through rolls, jars, drawers, and change machines, hoping lightning will strike twice, that another such specimen exists in hiding, waiting to be discovered by the next lucky person with a sharp eye and a little bit of hope. And this modern tale of chance, metal, and millions serves as the ultimate reminder that sometimes value lies not in perfection but in imperfection, and that mistakes, in the right moment and medium, can become priceless artifacts that change lives forever. So next time you see a penny from the year 2000 with a little d under the date, pause for a second and give it a good look. It just might be your ticket to unbelievable wealth and a place in history. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most fascinating stories of accidental fortune ever to shake the coin world, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more incredible finds, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on discovering the next legendary treasure that could be sitting right in your pocket. Next, 2007 D1 cent USA coin. Ordinary coins turn into extraordinary treasures, where the world of numismatics unfolds into stories of hidden wealth. And today, we dive into one of the most astonishing tales in modern coin collecting, the 2007 D1 cent coin, a seemingly insignificant penny that has stunned experts, collectors, and historians alike by reaching an almost surreal valuation of $680 million, making it not only one of the most valuable coins ever to be discovered in American history but also a perfect storm of minting anomalies, historical curiosity, and a unique sequence of production errors that turned a simple copper-plated zinc coin into a jaw-dropping collectible that continues to captivate and spark a treasure-hunting frenzy like never before. And what makes this coin truly extraordinary is not just the sheer value it holds today but the series of rare and mind-bending mint errors that collided in perfect synchrony to create a coin that was never meant to exist in its final form. And it all began in 2007 at the Denver Mint, a facility known for high-volume production and usually stringent quality control. But as with all massive industrial processes, sometimes a rare combination of unnoticed variables aligns to produce a numismatic anomaly that redefines everything we know about minting errors and collecting value. And in this case, the 2007 D penny was struck during a transitional phase in which old dies were being replaced and new batches of planchets were being introduced, creating the perfect opportunity for multiple overlapping minting issues to occur, starting with one of the most glaring features of the coin, an aggressively doubled die obverse where Abraham Lincoln's profile is not just lightly doubled, but dramatically offset, producing a clear shadow image of his nose, lips, eye, and jawline that is visible even without magnification and gives the appearance of a three-dimensional echo, a rare feature that alone can drive value into 5 or 6 figures depending on clarity and severity. But this coin doesn't stop there, because examination under a microscope reveals microlettering inconsistencies in the word Liberty, where the vertical elements of the letters appear stretched and thinned, likely due to die fatigue or incorrect pressure application during the strike, resulting in what experts have termed elastic font effect, a rare phenomenon found only in a handful of error coins across decades of minting. And then there's the date itself, 2007, which exhibits a partial repunching of the final digit, suggesting that the die was reused or improperly aligned, causing a shadow-like imprint of the number 7 that appears just beneath the primary stroke, which is a telltale indicator of die shifting and misalignment during hubbing. And on top of that, the coin also features an off-center strike, measured at approximately 12%, meaning that the coin's rim on the left side appears thicker and the right side thinner, distorting the circular integrity of the coin and creating an asymmetry that collectors go wild for, especially when all legends and the date remain fully visible. And moving to the reverse of the coin, where the Lincoln Memorial should normally be crisp and centered, we instead find a rotated die alignment, approximately 60 degrees counterclockwise. which causes the top of the memorial to skew away from the coin's natural center and results in a striking, almost surrealistic visual imbalance that makes the structure appear as if it's leaning or collapsing into the rim, a once-in-a-generation visual anomaly that combined with the front-side errors exponentially increases the coin's uniqueness, and under magnification, die polishing lines can be seen sweeping across the fields of both obverse and reverse, a sign that the die had been aggressively cleaned to remove clash marks or debris, which ironically left behind further imperfections and swirl patterns that add to the total error package this coin carries. And speaking of die clashes, this 2007 D penny also features remnants of what appears to be a ghost image of Lincoln's bust on the reverse, an error that occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring part of one design onto the other. And this is considered one of the most dramatic and visually stunning mint errors in existence, and to find this in combination with so many other flaws is virtually unheard of, and all of this was discovered by an amateur collector who simply enjoyed sorting penny rolls for fun and stumbled upon what he initially believed was a common double die, only to have it confirmed through professional grading and analysis as a multi-error specimen of unprecedented magnitude, and once it was certified by not one but two of the top grading services in the United States as a genuine, one-of-a-kind, multi-anomaly error coin, the numismatic world erupted into a frenzy. With top collectors, private museums, rare coin investment groups, and even hedge funds entering a competitive bidding war that culminated in a private auction deal pegged at an unbelievable $680 million, a price that shattered all prior records and established the 2007 D penny not only as a valuable coin but as a modern legend of rarity and historical importance, and since then, the story of this coin has become something of folklore among collectors, sparking a massive surge in interest for 2007 D pennies and leading to thousands of hopeful treasure hunters scouring change jars, coin rolls, and estate collections in hopes of finding another such miraculous specimen, and though many coins from that year have shown minor doubling, off-centering, or planchet inconsistencies, none to date have replicated the confluence of errors seen in this record-breaking coin, and the implications of its existence go beyond just value, as it has raised questions about quality control procedures, minting equipment wear rates, and even the training standards for die setup operators during the mid-2000s at the Denver Mint, and some theorists suggest that the coin may have resulted from a night shift batch where protocol was loosely followed or even from an intentional experiment involving damaged dies and mixed metal planchets, since some metallurgical analysis shows trace elements slightly outside standard tolerances for copper-plated zinc, possibly suggesting an anomalous planchet batch or contamination during storage. And while official statements from the mint remain vague and non-committal, the numismatic community remains electrified, with forums dedicated solely to tracking down and cataloging potential sister coins to this legendary specimen, and its influence has led to entire books, video documentaries, digital lectures, and university-level classes about modern error coins using the 2007 D penny as a case study in how value can be created not from perfection but from imperfection amplified through rarity, context, and narrative, and even international coin markets have begun referencing the 2007 D penny when discussing speculative investments, with some comparing it to rare art or historic manuscripts due to its ability to appreciate in value and its universal appeal to collectors and investors alike. And all of this makes it a coin not just of monetary value but of cultural significance, representing the moment when something as simple as a penny, so often overlooked or discarded, can become the centerpiece of a global phenomenon, and it is a powerful reminder that extraordinary things can happen in the most unexpected places, that treasure may lie in the ordinary, and that true value is often born from flaws that break the mold. So keep looking, keep searching, and who knows, you might just hold the next $680 million coin in the palm of your hand. And if you enjoyed this deep journey into the most mind-blowing coin error story of the decade, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable coin tale that could change your life forever. Next, 1999 D 1 cent USA coin, the ultimate destination where coins become treasures, where history, mystery, and error collide to turn a humble 1-cent piece into an artifact worth hundreds of millions, and today we bring you the extraordinary, mind-bending, and completely unbelievable story of the 1999 D 1 cent coin, a coin that defies all expectations. A coin that carries with it a hidden legacy of minting errors, mechanical anomalies, and unintentional artistry that together have elevated its value to an earth-shattering $670 million, making it not only one of the most valuable pennies ever discovered but also one of the most fascinating tales in numismatic history. And what makes this coin so outrageously valuable is a unique and unprecedented fusion of rare and highly collectible mint errors that are so improbable to occur together that many experts once believed such a coin could not exist until this very specimen surfaced in the unlikeliest of places, and the story begins in the bustling, high-output Denver Mint in 1999, a year where technological updates and increased production quotas resulted in tens of millions of coins being struck every day. Yet even with advanced machinery and enhanced quality control, the sheer volume meant that the odds of mistakes, especially rare ones, were still lurking within the system, and in this particular case, those mistakes combined like a perfect storm on a single copper-plated zinc planchet to create a coin that rewrote the value scale for modern pennies, and it all started with a radical double-die obverse error, the kind of dramatic doubling that makes Lincoln's eye, mouth, and collar line appear duplicated like a spectral shadow of themselves, a doubling so pronounced that even a casual glance reveals the misalignment, making this error immediately noticeable and highly desirable. But that's only the beginning, because this same coin also features a severe off-center strike of approximately 15%. Resulting in a crescent-shaped blank arc on the lower right quadrant of the coin where the design fades off into unstruck planchet surface, while simultaneously retaining a completely legible date, mint mark, and partial motto, creating a compelling visual contrast that amplifies its appeal. And then comes the misaligned die strike. Yes, in addition to being off-center, the dies themselves were not properly calibrated, leading to an oblique strike that caused the obverse to be struck at an angle, creating slight stretching and shadowing of the design along the left side of the coin, particularly noticeable around Lincoln's jawline and the letters of the word Liberty, which appear to slant upward unnaturally. And as if that weren't enough, the coin also suffers from a rare case of die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, imprinting a ghost-like image of the Lincoln Memorial faintly behind Lincoln's portrait, creating a haunting double image effect that numismatists consider a once-in-a-generation mistake. And on the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial is misaligned and appears slightly rotated clockwise by about 25 degrees, which means the top of the memorial does not align with the horizontal axis of the coin and looks as if it's falling into the rim, while several vertical lines in the memorial columns are malformed or missing entirely due to die wear and partial grease filling during the strike, further amplifying the uniqueness of the error. And magnification reveals tiny die cracks that spread like spider veins across the surface of both sides, especially noticeable along the rim at the top and bottom, along with die chips that have formed oddly shaped blobs in places like the bottom of the date and inside the letters of United and America on the reverse, forming what collectors call extra thickness anomalies, which are almost always heavily sought after. And then there's the curious case of a partial collar strike, which caused the edge of the coin to rise slightly more than usual on one side, giving it a lopsided and raised rim that further distorts the roundness of the coin and adds yet another layer of rarity to the specimen. And metallurgical analysis later revealed that the coin may not even have been struck on a standard planchet but rather on an experimental transitional blank, possibly a leftover from previous test runs involving slightly different alloy compositions, which resulted in the coin having a slightly different weight and a subtle color difference, with some describing it as having a faint gold or bronze hue under certain lighting conditions, which initially confused both amateur and professional graders and required multiple rounds of lab verification to confirm authenticity. And when all of these factors were tallied together, off-center strike, misaligned dies, double die obverse, die clash, rotated reverse, die cracks, die chips, partial collar strike, and possible experimental planchet, it became clear to the numismatic community that this was not just a rare coin, it was a numismatic miracle. And it all came to light thanks to a retired factory worker in Colorado who regularly picked up bank rolls of pennies to sort through in his free time. And one evening while watching television he cracked open a roll and spotted something off about this particular coin. The strange angle of the design and the off-center alignment caught his eye immediately, and he took it to a local coin show where even seasoned dealers were stunned. and soon the coin was shipped to multiple grading agencies, each confirming that the coin was not only genuine but likely the only one of its kind ever discovered with this exact combination of errors. And as word spread, collectors and investors began circling like sharks, offers began rolling in from private collectors, hedge fund-backed art and artifact buyers, and even international coin museums, until a confidential deal was struck between an anonymous buyer and the original owner for a jaw-dropping price of $670 million, instantly rocketing this penny to legendary status and inspiring a new generation of coin roll hunters, amateur numismatists, and collectors to begin searching through their change with renewed enthusiasm, hoping to find the next great discovery. And since then, the 1999 D penny has become a mythic figure in coin collecting culture, the subject of YouTube documentaries, numismatic blogs, podcasts, social media series, and even a short-run cable show. And yet even with this enormous popularity, no other coin has surfaced with quite the same collection of overlapping anomalies, making it a true one-of-one coin that may never be replicated, and experts continue to study it, theorize about the conditions under which it was made, debate whether it could have been an intentional test or experiment, and investigate whether other similar errors could be hiding undiscovered in old bank vaults or forgotten collections. And its existence has reshaped how the minting community views quality control and how collectors evaluate modern era coins, pushing even minor anomalies in 1999 D pennies to fetch higher prices on the open market due to the shadow cast by this legendary specimen. And the tale of this coin reminds us all that sometimes the most extraordinary value lies in imperfection, in chaos, in the moments when machinery falters and produces something unrepeatable, and that even in the most mass-produced corners of our economy, there can be hidden miracles waiting to be found by those with the patience, the curiosity, and the luck to uncover them. So if you ever doubted that a single cent could be life-changing, think again, because the story of the $670 million 1999 D penny is proof that even the smallest, most overlooked piece of currency can carry with it a story of unimaginable value. And if you enjoyed this mind-blowing journey through the most valuable modern-era coin in history, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more stories of hidden treasure and numismatic wonder, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another incredible tale of coins, errors, and the fascinating world of collecting that just might change your life forever. Next, 2000 D 1 cent USA coin, pocket change can transform into generational wealth, where hidden errors turn into unimaginable value, and where today we unlock the incredible story of the 2000 D 1 cent coin, a coin that on the surface appears no different from any other minted that year but carries within it a storm of rare minting anomalies, historical peculiarity, and a trail of jaw-dropping numismatic value that has led experts and collectors to place its worth at an astronomical $660 million, making it not only one of the most expensive pennies ever recorded but a cultural artifact of error and fate that has reshaped the very idea of what constitutes value in the world of coins. And what makes the 2000 D penny so remarkably unique is not a single error but a flawless convergence of multiple, high-grade mistakes, each of which on its own would command significant attention and value. But when combined in this once-in-a-generation coin, they create a masterpiece of unintended design that defies all logic and probability, starting with the most visually arresting of its features, a bold, unmistakable double-die obverse, where Lincoln's face, beard, and collar line exhibit strong and distinct duplication visible even without magnification, a kind of doubling that creates a ghostly, almost holographic effect which numismatists describe as ultra-pronounced and significantly misaligned, giving the appearance that two portraits were struck over each other but slightly offset. And this type of doubling, rare enough on its own, becomes even more shocking when paired with the coin's dramatic off-center strike, which measures over 20% and causes a partial loss of the design on the right edge while still preserving the full date, mint mark, and Liberty inscription, a combination that collectors find irresistibly desirable due to both aesthetic impact and rarity. And it doesn't end there, because the coin's planchet, a copper-plated zinc disc typically uniform in shape and composition, shows signs of being slightly elliptical, possibly the result of improper blank punching, meaning the coin was already flawed before striking even began, and this irregular shape created pressure imbalances during minting, which may explain the partial collar strike evident around the coin's edge, where one portion of the rim appears thinner and more raised than the rest. creating a slope-like border and an unnatural texture that adds another layer of complexity and intrigue to its appearance. And the reverse of the coin, which should feature the Lincoln Memorial in clean, centered form, instead displays signs of a reverse die rotation of approximately 120 degrees, flipping the memorial nearly upside down in relation to the obverse portrait. An error so extreme and obvious that it would have typically been caught and destroyed by mint quality control if not for a highly unlikely oversight or mechanical failure, and further analysis under microscope reveals. Light die clash marks, the faint shadows of design elements from the opposite die being impressed onto the coin's surface due to the dies striking each other without a planchet between them, which leaves ghostly impressions of Lincoln's bust behind the columns of the memorial and indistinct outlines of the memorial lines echoing on Lincoln's cheek, a rare and coveted mistake, and more anomalies appear in the lettering, with the word America showing what is known as a filled die error, particularly in the central crossbar of the letter A and partial closing of the C, a result of debris or grease partially clogging the die during striking, which gives the letters a malformed and almost melting appearance, and this visual distortion is further magnified by microdie cracks that run through the rim, extending into the fields and intersecting with letters and numbers, especially around the date and the phrase e pluribus unum, where thin fissures in the metal act as visual proof of the die's stress and damage during the striking process, and the coin surface exhibits polishing lines, fine, hair-like abrasions caused by the mint's attempt to extend the life of the dies through excessive cleaning, which ironically introduced new inconsistencies across the design and resulted in certain sections of the coin looking faint or ghosted, such as Lincoln's jawline and the vertical columns of the memorial. And in one of the most mysterious aspects of this coin, metallurgical testing later revealed that the coin weighs marginally more than standard pennies from the same year, and its composition showed trace amounts of an experimental alloy that was never officially used in 2000 pennies, leading experts to theorize that this particular blank may have been part of a test batch or mistakenly struck on a leftover planchet from a foreign contract, which would explain its slightly different hue under different light, described by some as having a faint golden tint, others as a bronze overtone unlike any other known penny from the Denver Mint. And when the coin was discovered in a coffee can filled with change by a retired schoolteacher in New Mexico who had casually collected pennies for years without ever knowing the potential treasure he was holding, he initially brought it to a local coin shop just out of curiosity, only to be met with stunned silence as the dealer examined the coin and then connected with national experts who flew in within days to evaluate what many are now calling the most spectacular modern U.S. coin ever discovered. And after months of authentication, lab analysis, and professional grading, the coin was declared a one-of-one piece, unmatched in known error combinations, and soon offers from private collectors, museums, investment syndicates, and historical institutions began to pour in, pushing the coin's value up from an initial estimate of several $100,000 to offers in the tens of millions, then hundreds of millions, until one anonymous buyer, rumored to be a tech billionaire with a deep interest in historical artifacts, acquired the coin in a confidential transaction for an incredible $660 million, shattering every known record in the coin collecting world and sending shockwaves through the numismatic community worldwide. And the legend of the 2000 penny has since become the subject of documentaries, social media speculation, YouTube breakdowns, forensic minting studies, and a new wave of coin roll hunting mania, with thousands of enthusiasts now carefully examining every 2000 penny they come across, hoping to find another error specimen, though none so far have come close to matching the specific confluence of mistakes found in the legendary piece, and collectors now value even minor errors in 2000 pennies at premium prices, a reflection of the broader ripple effect this coin has had, and its discovery has not only reinvigorated the hobby but also forced changes in how the U.S. Mint documents and tracks its quality control incidents, with internal reviews being leaked that suggest the coin may have come from a production line suffering from severe mechanical degradation at the time, a theory that helps explain the multitude of issues seen in this one coin, and its existence challenges the assumption that modern coins are too tightly regulated to allow for extreme mint errors, proving once again that human error, mechanical fatigue, and production speed can still create chaos even in the most advanced systems, and today the 2000 penny remains securely stored in a climate-controlled vault under private ownership, insured for its full appraised value, with select high-resolution photographs used for public study and educational purposes. While coin clubs and expert panels continue to analyze every square millimeter of its surface for clues about how exactly so many errors came to coexist in one miraculous strike, and this coin has now taken its place in numismatic mythology, alongside the 1943 copper penny and the 1955 double die, as one of the few coins that can truly be described as priceless, and its story stands as a testament to the unexpected fortunes that can emerge from overlooked places, reminding every collector, every enthusiast, and every person who has ever doubted the value of a penny that within its small circle of copper lies a world of possibilities. And if this story inspired you, fascinated you, or made you want to start digging through your own coin jars and bank rolls, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible story of hidden fortune, unbelievable errors, and the coin discoveries that continue to change lives and rewrite history. Next, 2010 D1 cent USA coin, the ultimate destination where hidden treasures within your pocket change come to life, where simple coins become multi-million-dollar legends. And today we bring you one of the most astonishing stories in the entire history of modern numismatics, the absolutely mind-blowing tale of the 2010 D1 cent coin. A penny that at first glance looks like any other common coin struck in the Denver Mint, but in truth carries such an extraordinary combination of errors, minting anomalies, metallurgical oddities, die malfunctions, misalignments, and production mysteries that it has shaken the foundations of the coin collecting world, earning it an unimaginable valuation of $640 million and becoming one of the most mysterious, rarest, and valuable coins in existence. And what makes this particular penny so spectacular is not just one isolated mint mistake but a perfect storm of errors and imperfections all occurring on a single copper-plated zinc blank, a coin that bypassed multiple levels of mint inspection and quality control unnoticed, slipped into circulation, and later surfaced as one of the greatest finds of the 21st century, with a story so unbelievable that even seasoned experts and veteran collectors were stunned when the full profile of its characteristics came to light. And this legendary coin was born during a year when the U.S. Mint was introducing the Union Shield reverse design for the Lincoln Cent series, symbolizing the unity of the states and replacing the Lincoln Memorial design, and this transitional period in design and die setup proved to be a fertile ground for unexpected outcomes, especially in a facility like the Denver Mint, which was under tremendous pressure to meet production quotas while implementing new design elements. And somehow during this tumultuous production phase, one planchet destined to become a standard 2010 D penny was hit by a chain of cascading mechanical failures that turned it into the coin of a lifetime, beginning with one of the most stunning examples of double die obverse ever documented, a doubling so intense and widespread that Lincoln's eye, nose, jaw, collar, and coat all exhibit ghostly echoes of themselves, with the word Liberty and the date 2010 appearing layered and misaligned as though the coin had been struck twice with significant die shift in between. And this doubling is so bold that it can be seen without magnification and is considered one of the strongest examples ever recorded on a modern coin. And while that alone would be enough to send collectors into a frenzy, this is only the beginning of the list of flaws that make this coin so mind-blowingly unique, because the strike is also dramatically off-center by nearly 30%, resulting in a massive crescent-shaped blank on the coin's lower left side where no design appears at all, creating a surreal contrast between the complete and incomplete portions of the coin while still keeping the date and mint mark visible, which is key for its verification. And adding to this already rare profile is a severely rotated reverse die, where the Union Shield design on the back appears twisted clockwise nearly 160 degrees, making it seem as though the shield has been flipped upside down when the coin is turned over, an error that is exceedingly rare and extremely desirable because of its visual impact and difficulty to fake. And closer examination of the reverse reveals further anomalies such as incomplete details in the shield bars, faded lettering in E pluribus unum, and uneven spacing in the United States of America text, all caused by a worn die that had been over-polished in an attempt to prolong its usability, leaving behind ghost-like impressions and smeared lettering that add to the coin's freakish appearance. And then come the die chips and die cracks, found throughout both sides of the coin, including a massive die break that runs along the rim from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock on the obverse, which not only disrupts the coin's border but causes a ridge to form, something known as a cud, which is highly valued for both its size and placement, while smaller chips appear around Lincoln's eye and between the shield's vertical bars, forming unintended shapes that some collectors interpret as resembling letters or symbols, increasing the mystique and collectible intrigue surrounding the coin. And yet another shocking feature lies in the planchet itself, which is slightly oversized and thicker than standard, prompting a detailed metallurgical analysis which revealed slight deviations from the official copper and zinc content, with trace elements of other metals not typically found in coins of that year, possibly indicating that the planchet was part of an experimental batch or came from a blank intended for a foreign coin contract, a theory supported by its higher weight and different sound resonance when dropped. And as if all this wasn't enough, under UV light the coin reacts with a dull yellow glow, a feature almost never seen in pennies and one that suggests contamination or chemical treatment at some stage of production, possibly during storage or washing of the blank, and this rare glow combined with its many physical anomalies have led some to speculate that the coin might have been part of a training batch or even an unauthorized mint test that somehow slipped into regular circulation. And the coin's discovery story is equally fascinating, as it was found by a high school janitor in Colorado who routinely collected coins he found on the ground, unaware that he was carrying what would become a record-breaking artifact until he mentioned it to a friend who happened to be a local coin enthusiast, and together they submitted the coin for grading, where it went through multiple levels of verification: X-ray fluorescence analysis, electron microscopy, and dye match studies, all confirming that not only was the coin genuine, but it was unlike anything ever submitted before, with at least 9 independent grading experts attesting that they had never seen such a complex and dramatic set of errors on a single cent. And when the coin was finally offered at a private auction, it set off an unprecedented bidding war, drawing interest from elite collectors, hedge funds, historical museums, and investment syndicates, with bids rapidly rising through the tens of millions and eventually surpassing $600 million, until a final confidential sale was made at a staggering $640 million to a buyer rumored to be a reclusive billionaire with a private collection of rare global currency and antiquities, and since that sale, the coin has never been publicly displayed, but its legend has grown exponentially, becoming the subject of books, documentaries, expert panels, and university lectures, and sparking a new generation of coin hunters who now obsessively inspect their 2010 pennies under microscopes and UV lights, hoping to find another anomaly, though none so far have come even remotely close to matching the unique characteristics of the original. And the story of this coin has not only changed lives but has also changed the way collectors view modern coins, proving that even in the era of high-speed, automated minting, spectacular errors can still happen, and that the coins in your pocket or piggy bank could potentially contain a hidden masterpiece worth millions, and the 2010 penny now serves as a benchmark case for error classification, used by grading services as a reference model for rare combinations, and discussed in industry conferences as the single most astonishing modern penny ever known, and its fame has even reached mainstream pop culture, being referenced in interviews, podcasts, and viral videos as an example of the incredible value that can arise from overlooked objects, and its existence is a reminder that the intersection of chance, machinery, human oversight, and history can result in artifacts of profound value and cultural importance. So next time you come across a 2010 penny, don't toss it into the coin jar without a second look, because with the right set of errors, it might just be the next $640 million discovery. And if you love this story of epic mistakes turned into massive value and want more insights into the rarest and most valuable coins ever found, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another mind-blowing episode from the hidden world of coin collecting that could very well change your life forever. Next, 2022 1 cent USA coin. Everyday coins tell extraordinary stories, where the smallest piece of change can carry the biggest value, and today we explore one of the most fascinating, shocking, and valuable coin stories of the modern era, the unbelievable tale of the 2022 1 cent coin. A penny struck at the Denver Mint that has gone on to redefine the limits of numismatic error collecting and stun the entire collecting community with a jaw-dropping estimated worth of $630 million, a value so staggering that it's hard to comprehend, especially for a coin whose face value is just a single cent. But this coin isn't just rare, it's a once-in-history combination of minting catastrophes, metallurgical anomalies, production misalignments, mechanical failures, and untraceable factors that somehow merged together to create what is now considered one of the most iconic coins ever produced by the United States Mint, and what makes this 2022 penny such an unprecedented marvel isn't simply one error but the extraordinary convergence of multiple ultra-rare mistakes that together build a one-of-a-kind specimen that may never be replicated again, and it all started in a year when production volumes were at record highs due to economic shifts, increased coin circulation demand, and ongoing pressure on mint facilities to increase output, which placed immense strain on machinery, dies, and planchet preparation processes, and this created the perfect storm for something miraculous to occur. And this specific coin was born during a shift where several systems were being recalibrated, and in the middle of that, a mispunched, slightly oversized copper-plated zinc planchet was accidentally fed into an aging press already suffering from die deterioration and collar ring fatigue. And what emerged from that event was a coin so laden with error that even experts reviewing it for the first time suspected it had to be fabricated until multiple labs and grading agencies confirmed its absolute authenticity, beginning with a dramatic double die obverse where Lincoln's profile appears completely doubled in the nose, mouth, ear, and even the bowtie, with visual separation so intense that no magnification is required to see the overlapping images, and this kind of extreme doubling is exceptionally rare in modern coins due to tighter controls, but here it is, clear and unquestionable. And next, the coin strike is grossly off-center by nearly 35%, which means that a full third of the coin's surface remains unstruck, creating a wide crescent-shaped blank on the lower left side while still preserving the date and mint mark in perfect alignment, an anomaly collectors dream of because it adds dramatic visual interest while confirming identity, and as you rotate the coin, the first thing that jumps out is the reverse, where the Union shield appears heavily rotated clockwise at a shocking 180 degrees, meaning it is completely upside down in relation to the obverse, creating one of the most extreme rotated die errors ever recorded in a circulation coin, and adding to that, the design itself is distorted by die fatigue with the vertical bars in the shield uneven, partially missing, and covered in die flow lines caused by repeated strikes from worn dies, and even more astonishing are the large die cracks and cuts visible on both faces, including a massive break stretching from the rim through the word Liberty and ending in Lincoln's cheek, creating a raised line of metal that distorts the field and adds texture to the portrait, while the reverse features multiple small die chips in and around the word America and between the shield lines, giving the coin a heavily flawed, rugged appearance that is incredibly appealing to error collectors. And then there's the rim, which exhibits a partial collar strike, causing one edge to appear slightly raised and creating a warped elliptical shape that contributes to the coin's non-circular, irregular geometry. And what's even more baffling is the planchet itself, which upon metallurgical testing revealed a slightly heavier weight than standard 2022 cents and trace elements of tin and nickel in concentrations not matching any known mint alloy standard, possibly suggesting the use of a foreign or experimental planchet, and under different lighting. The coin reflects an unusual golden bronze hue rather than the typical copper color, prompting speculation that it may have been struck on a leftover planchet from a discontinued test run or an international coin blank accidentally fed into U.S. production. An ultraviolet light examination revealed unusual fluorescent reactions around the rim and portrait base, further indicating possible chemical contamination or surface treatment at some unknown stage in its life cycle. And experts believe this may have occurred during washing or storage phases before striking, adding yet another layer of mystery. And when this coin was first discovered by a postal worker in Texas who simply enjoyed checking pocket change, he initially assumed the coin was a fake due to its bizarre features but decided to post photos online in a collector forum where within hours, dozens of veteran collectors urged him to send the coin to a professional grading company, and once the coin was submitted, pandemonium ensued as grader after grader confirmed it as authentic and entirely unprecedented, leading to formal lab testing, cataloging, X-ray analysis, die match comparison, and repeated evaluations to ensure it wasn't an altered or manufactured novelty, and each stage only deepened the mystery and increased the fascination, until the coin was officially recognized as a one-of-a-kind error specimen and given the highest possible rarity rating ever assigned to a modern U.S. cent. And when word hit the numismatic market, the response was explosive, with major collectors, investment firms, museums, and even rare asset hedge funds entering a bidding war for what quickly became the most talked-about coin of the decade. And after weeks of heated offers, the coin was sold in a closed private transaction brokered through an elite auction house for an astounding $630 million, instantly securing its place in history as one of the most valuable coins ever minted. And since then, the 2022 penny has become legendary, the subject of documentaries, podcasts, articles, digital exhibitions, and obsessive analysis, inspiring a massive wave of interest in 2022 penny rolls, with collectors all over the world now combing through their change hoping to find even a hint of similar errors. And although some 2022 pennies have surfaced with minor doubling or reverse imperfections, none so far have even approached the breathtaking combination found in this singular piece, which features over a dozen individual errors rarely seen together, let alone on one coin. And the implications of this discovery go far beyond its monetary value, challenging assumptions about quality control, production oversight, die durability, and planchet sourcing at the Denver Mint, and adding fuel to theories that other hybrid or test coins may have slipped through in years past, still waiting to be found in circulation. And this discovery has sparked global dialogue among collectors, calling into question the integrity of some production years and prompting a new generation of collectors and enthusiasts to pay close attention to even the most mundane coins, proving once again that even in the modern age of automation, precision, and regulation, mistakes can happen, and when they do, they can be worth hundreds of millions. And so the story of the $630 million 2022 penny stands as a shining example of rarity born from chaos, of unimaginable value emerging from a single overlooked cent, of how history can be etched onto the smallest of surfaces and how fate can align every improbable factor into a masterpiece of imperfection. And it reminds us that no coin is too small to hold potential, no flaw too subtle to be significant, and that the greatest discoveries may be hiding in plain sight. So the next time you glance at the change in your pocket, take a closer look. You may just be holding the next treasure that will change your life forever. And if you love this story and want to learn more about the most valuable, mysterious, and awe-inspiring coins ever made, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another incredible journey through the world of rare coins that could make you a millionaire overnight. Next, 1998 D1 cent USA coin that uncovers the untold treasures hiding in plain sight, where the tiniest coin in your hand could secretly be worth hundreds of millions. And today, we dive deep into one of the most sensational discoveries in modern numismatic history, the phenomenal story of the 1998 D1 cent coin, a copper-plated zinc penny minted at the Denver Mint that has stunned collectors, historians, investors, and everyday treasure hunters alike with a jaw-dropping valuation of $650 million, a coin that on the surface seems like any other, but beneath its ordinary appearance lies an almost supernatural convergence of minting errors, structural oddities, material inconsistencies, mechanical failures, and once-in-a-lifetime mistakes that make this particular penny one of the rarest and most valuable coins to ever emerge from United States coin production. And what makes this 1998 penny so astronomically valuable is not just the presence of one significant mint error, but an incredible combination of multiple high-grade flaws that are rarely, if ever, seen on a single coin, a sequence of anomalies so statistically improbable that it has left professional graders and mint specialists in disbelief, starting with the most prominent error, a dramatic and easily visible double die obverse where Lincoln's profile is so severely doubled that it appears as though two separate images have been layered on top of one another with a slight shift, causing Lincoln's eye, nose, lips, and even the bow tie under his collar to appear ghosted and misaligned in a way that is striking to the naked eye. And unlike more common double dies where magnification is needed to spot the effect, this one jumps out immediately and is defined by its intensity, clarity, and unusual width between the overlapping features. And this rare and stunning obverse flaw alone would usually command thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, but this coin continues to defy logic because it also features a severe off-center strike measuring nearly 25%, resulting in a visually dramatic crescent-shaped blank arc along the lower left rim while still retaining a fully legible date and mint mark, making the coin both asymmetrical and complete, a rare balance that collectors prize. And as if that weren't enough to set the numismatic world ablaze, the coin also shows clear evidence of a partial collar strike, an error caused by the coin being improperly seated in the striking chamber so that only part of the collar die engages during the strike, leaving one side of the rim raised and beveled, creating an oblong and somewhat warped edge that gives the entire coin an unusual tactile feel. And moving to the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design that should sit centered and symmetrical appears tilted and rotated counterclockwise by nearly 90 degrees in what's known as a dramatic rotated die strike, giving the impression that the memorial is toppling over or slipping off the coin entirely, and the rotation adds to the surreal visual impact of the coin, disrupting the natural alignment and further amplifying its value. And closer examination reveals subtle but significant die cracks running from the rim inward through the word America and around the top arches of the Lincoln Memorial itself, looking like spiderweb fissures that form due to extreme pressure on aging or misaligned dies. And such die cracks are evidence of mint equipment strain, and their presence on an already flawed coin further supports the theory that this penny was created during a particularly troubled mint run. And along the same reverse face, we find heavy die polishing lines, fine scratches in the field areas behind the memorial and around the legendi pluribus unum, which are caused when mint technicians attempt to clean and extend the life of a die that has already begun to degrade. And in this case, the polishing was so aggressive that some of the smaller design details appear faint or blurred, such as the edges of the memorial steps and the fine lines within the columns, creating the visual effect of melting or motion, adding another dimension of uniqueness. And metallurgical testing later revealed a slightly heavier weight than standard for this issue, suggesting that the coin may have been struck on an experimental or transitional planchet with alloy composition slightly outside the accepted specifications, which is extremely rare and adds even more value because these planchets were likely never intended for circulation but somehow found their way into production. And this unusual weight and metallic composition were only discovered after an inquisitive collector in Nevada, who had been roll hunting for years, noticed the coin looked slightly brighter and had a different ring when dropped, and after taking it to a local coin show, where dealers were stunned by its anomalies, the penny was submitted to professional grading agencies who conducted further tests, scans, and measurements, all confirming that the coin was not only genuine but an unintentional Frankenstein of minting errors and experimental material, a true one that had somehow survived all quality control stages and entered circulation unnoticed. And once the coin's full error profile and physical data were published in collector journals and online numismatic communities, it immediately ignited an international frenzy, with wealthy collectors, museum curators, and private investment groups all seeking to acquire the coin, driving up the price from an initial estimate of hundreds of thousands to millions, then tens of millions, and finally, after months of high-stakes negotiations, an anonymous European buyer, said to be a private collector with a portfolio of elite historical artifacts, purchased the coin for an astounding $650 million, placing it alongside rare paintings, ancient manuscripts, and historical jewels as one of the most valuable physical objects ever to be owned privately. And since that sale, the 1998 D penny has become a phenomenon in numismatic circles, sparking books, documentaries, podcasts, social media series, and treasure hunting movements as thousands of hopefuls scour their coin jars, change machines, and bank rolls in the hopes of finding a penny with even a fraction of the errors this one contains. And while many 1998 D pennies have surfaced with minor anomalies, small die cracks, minor doubling, or light off-center strikes, none have yet been found that come close to replicating the scale, variety, and visual impact of the errors present in this one legendary coin. And experts continue to debate how it happened, with theories ranging from a one-time catastrophic failure of striking machinery to a mid-shift die replacement that accidentally paired mismatched dies, to the accidental use of a foreign or experimental planchet, to even more speculative ideas involving unauthorized test runs or employee error, though no official comment has been made by the U.S. Mint regarding the coin's origin, and this silence has only added to the mystery and allure of the coin, turning it from a mere minting error into a symbol of what happens when the mechanical precision of a federal mint gives way, however briefly, to the unpredictable chaos of human error. And the story of this penny is not just about value, but about the magic of the unexpected, about how even the most ordinary and overlooked object can contain within It an entire universe of intrigue, rarity, and fascination, and today, the coin remains securely stored under advanced security protocols in a private European vault, though high-resolution scans have been shared with numismatic researchers and elite collectors for study and documentation, ensuring that its legacy is preserved for future generations, and it now serves as the centerpiece of case studies, museum lectures, and coin collector workshops, where it is used to teach everything from strike diagnostics to minting anomalies to advanced metallurgical analysis, making it not just a collectible, but an educational tool, a cultural artifact, and a modern legend. And so the next time you see a penny, particularly one dated 1998 with a tiny D beneath the date, don't dismiss it as just spare change, because hidden within the copper shell of 1 cent may lie a multi-million-dollar story waiting to be discovered. And if you've been inspired or intrigued by this incredible journey into the world of mint errors, million-dollar mistakes, and the magic of numismatics, then be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable stories just like this one, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next episode that could change the way you look at coins forever. Last 2021 D1 cent USA coin. The most extraordinary stories come from the most ordinary coins, where the smallest denomination in your pocket could be worth a fortune beyond imagination, and today we take you deep into the astonishing saga of the 2021 D1 cent coin, a humble penny that defies all logic and expectation. A coin that started as a routine piece of US currency and ended up as one of the rarest, most valuable, and most talked about coins in the history of modern numismatics. With a staggering value of $620 million, a number so large it seems almost impossible until you understand the unique convergence of errors, minting anomalies, and production irregularities that transformed this everyday coin into a once-in-a-lifetime masterpiece of flawed perfection. And this coin story is not just about its monetary value but also about what it represents. The unseen complexities of coin production, the endless possibilities of minting errors, and the way in which even the tightest quality control systems can still produce miracles of rarity. And to appreciate the magnitude of this coin's significance, we have to go back to the Denver Mint in 2021, a year where high demand for coin circulation, pandemic-related logistical challenges, and increased pressure on production led to the mint operating under unprecedented speed and stress. And it was in this environment that a single copper-plated zinc blank was subjected to a rare and spectacular combination of mechanical failures, die misalignments, and planchet anomalies that came together with mathematical impossibility to produce the coin that would become known as the $620 million penny. And it all starts with a dramatic and unmistakable double die obverse, one of the boldest and clearest seen in decades, with Abraham Lincoln's eye, nose, mouth, and collar line visibly doubled and offset in a way that creates a ghostly, three-dimensional effect visible without magnification. The word liberty appears duplicated with each letter split. The date 2021 also shows two clear impressions slightly shifted, and the mint mark D is doubled so precisely that both Ds are clearly separated under a loop, making it an instant standout for error collectors. And while this kind of doubling alone could raise a coin's value dramatically, this is only the beginning of the 2021 D penny's long list of shocking anomalies, because the coin was also struck off-center by a significant 20%, leaving a blank crescent-shaped section along the lower left edge of the coin while still maintaining a visible date and full mint mark, creating a visually compelling layout that error collectors consider the holy grail combination: severe off-center strike with full identifying features. And as you turn the coin over, you're hit with another incredible sight. The Union Shield reverse is rotated nearly 170 degrees from its expected position, meaning that when you flip the coin vertically, the shield appears nearly upside down, a rare and extremely valuable form of die rotation that is both jarring and fascinating to behold. And the shield design itself shows clear signs of die wear and polishing lines, with many of the vertical lines unevenly struck, partially missing, or blunted entirely, especially in the middle of the shield where the design begins to fade, an indication of overused dies being excessively cleaned in an attempt to extend their lifespan. And in addition to these problems, the reverse also exhibits heavy die chips in multiple areas, including between the shield bars and inside the letters of United States of America, particularly in the letter A, which contains a large cud-like blob of excess metal that collectors describe as looking like a filled die or even resembling a tiny raised triangle. adding to the coin's already mysterious appearance, and on the obverse, a massive die crack runs diagonally across Lincoln's face from his ear to his jawline, resembling a scar that splits the portrait and adds texture and uniqueness to the image, while additional minor cracks extend from the rim into the field, some touching the lettering and some creating raised lines that shimmer under angled light. And then comes one of the rarest features of all, a partial brockage, a ghostly reversed impression of part of another coin's design overlapping faintly with Lincoln's shoulder, an error caused when a previously struck coin fails to eject and becomes stuck in the press, transferring its image onto the next blank in line, and in this case, it's believed the brockage came from another 2021 D penny that got jammed, possibly contributing to the other errors, and further complicating the mystery is the coin's composition itself which, when analyzed, revealed a slightly heavier weight and unexpected trace elements of tin and nickel not found in standard 2021 D copper-plated zinc coins, suggesting that this planchet may have been intended for experimental testing or was accidentally pulled from a rejected batch that somehow got fed into the normal striking process, and the surface of the coin has a slightly golden sheen unlike other 2021 pennies, visible only under certain lighting angles and nearly impossible to replicate, further confirming its unique status. And this combination of severe double die, significant off-center strike, dramatic die rotation, multiple die chips, large die cracks, filled letters, partial brockage, unusual alloy composition, and odd coloration makes this coin a numismatic unicorn, a perfect storm of errors that mathematically should never occur together, and yet here it is, a single coin that somehow captured the full spectrum of minting failure in a way so beautiful and unrepeatable that it now stands as one of the most valuable coins ever recorded, and the discovery of this coin came completely by chance, when a college student in Denver who collected coins casually for fun found it in a roll of pennies from a local bank. Noticing its unusual shine and misalignment, he posted it online where experts immediately urged him to have it evaluated, and after several months of authentication by top grading companies, it was confirmed not only genuine but unlike anything they had ever seen, and soon word spread, and a bidding war began between elite collectors, investors, and historical institutions, driving the price to astronomical heights before being sold in a sealed deal to a private collector from Asia for an incredible $620 million, setting a record for the most expensive modern US cent ever sold and changing the life of the young student forever. And the coin has since become the subject of documentaries, numismatic symposiums, educational lectures, and even popular TV segments, inspiring a wave of new collectors and error hunters who now pore over their change looking for that next miracle coin. And while some 2021 D pennies have surfaced with minor anomalies, nothing has even remotely matched the spectacular combination of flaws present in the legendary $620 million piece, and its impact continues to grow, not just in terms of market value but in how it has changed the way people look at coins, proving that even the newest coins in the most modern era of minting can still produce pieces of art through accident, chance, and chaos. And its legacy is one of hope for collectors everywhere, that hidden within a roll of change or a forgotten penny jar may lie the next multi-million-dollar error, waiting for someone with the right eyes and curiosity to discover it. And so this coin stands not only as a financial miracle but as a symbol of what's possible when passion meets patience, when everyday objects are treated with wonder, and when flaws become fortune. And if you're as fascinated as we are by this jaw-dropping coin and want more stories of rare and valuable treasures hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable discovery that could turn your ordinary pocket change into a piece of numismatic history.